Whether you're a childcare provider in your home or you are just a new mom looking for ideas for baby proofing, this is the video for you. Hey guys, Sarah here from Work Life Blue, and today I'm back for another products video where I talk about something related to daycare and products. Since becoming a childcare provider and posting videos on YouTube, I've had so many people ask me questions about what products I use for diapering, for baby proofing, for toys, for outdoor toys, for safety, and all kinds of things in between. I will put a link to all of the past products videos in the description in a playlist so you guys can check out the other ones. But today I'm going to be talking about baby proofing. Now, I am a childcare provider in my home to up to 10 kids, ages 6 weeks. I can take up through, you know, potentially any age, but I have them up through age 5. And so it's important that our homes are safe. Now, I am licensed, and so in Minnesota, that has certain things that means. Across other states and other countries, obviously, there are different rules. So I'm not going to go through and talk about every safety thing that I use when it comes to daycare, but I am going to go through and share what products I have purchased for my home and installed that keep my home safe. Now, every home is different, so what I need is different than what you might need. But I think it's very helpful to share and get ideas from each other, especially if you're a new mom or you're, you know, moving to a new house, or you are becoming a childcare provider, or just, you know, something's not working for you. Seeing what other people do can be really helpful. So I'm gonna jump right in. So when it comes to baby proofing, one of the very first areas parents look and providers look to baby proof are stairs and any kind of areas that they don't want children going into. So the very first thing I'm going to talk about is gates. I have about 9 different gates in my house. We live on a 4-level house. It's a very split level, and so we have lots of staircases and lots of areas that I don't want children going. And so I'm going to show you the different kinds of gates I use and what I use them for. So the very first gate when parents come into my daycare through our back door is this extendable gate, and I will have links to everything below. We have 2 of these in our house, and they've both have lasted about 3 years so far, and I love them. They expand and then they clip into the wall, and kids, I have not had a child figure out how to open these, so these are really great. You have to push in these and push down and then bring it out, and then it also clips in the bottom, so then you have to lift, and they extend in and out. And I like it for here so that toddlers especially aren't getting into the shoes, and if we, you know, it's a wet day, they're not like getting like the wet footprints here, they're not getting all wet. So I can easily shut this. I can still talk to parents when they come to pick up and drop off, but the kids aren't like running over there. So it's a really handy thing. I can also swing it and put it here. This is definitely a more permanent option, but you can easily take it off, like if you have family over or something, and I can easily just go like this if it's kind of in the way, but it's worked really well for this area. I also have the exact same one up here in our kitchen, leading downstairs, so that in Minnesota we have to have a fixed, permanently attached gate so that kids aren't falling down the stairs. You can't have like a pressurized one, it has to be fixed. And so this one works really well. We can just leave it open if we don't want, you know, if we don't want it up, but it's not really in the way, but it's very, very safe and sturdy for above the stairs. Another type of gate we have are also these extendable, but also they're retractable. They go into this little thing, they wind up. I have 3 of these, 1, 2, and then one at the bottom of the stairs. I would not recommend these for right at the top of the stairs, like right here. Where we have it here, there's like a good 1.5 feet between the gate and the stairs, because sometimes kids can kind of stretch these ones out, and if you have it right against the stairs, they could potentially stretch it and like slide under. But it works really, really well for just like a barrier between rooms like we have here. So this is our gate to keep kids from going up the stairs, because this is our daycare room, so they can't, you know, if that's closed, they can't get over to the stairs. They also can't get to the laundry room or the closets or the bathroom, so this is a really good place to have it, as well as like this situation, or at the bottom of the stairs. They work really, really well. I really like having that at the bottom of the stairs in our basement. And I really like it too. So to open this one, you push here and this pops up, and then you unhook that and it retracts. And you can also lift this off and take it off if you don't want that in the way, like if you're having family over or whatever. But this is like a more permanent solution. It is screwed in But they work really, really well, and I really like them. And if it ever breaks, the nice thing is you can just buy a new one and then slide it right back down and install it. It's really easy to install if you ever need to buy a new one. In our main living area, we do have a open staircase. So because in Minnesota we don't have to have a fixed gate at the bottom of stairs, only at the top of stairs, I have this one. It's a pressurized one. It works really well for this area. You lift it up, you push it down. My 3-year-old can't really even open it because of the way you have to pull it and pull up at the same time. So that I like. I haven't had any problems with it not staying pressurized. And because we have a banister that it attaches to, sometimes, you know, you can get away with using this on both sides depending on how your staircase is. We had to buy a separate piece so that it could go around here. But at the bottom, we could just get away with using the actual thing. So that works really, really well. Stairs are hard. I didn't have to use one at the top because for licensing, I only have children sleeping up here, and it's really only my children ever up here most of the time, so they didn't make me put one up there because the little kids, the little ones aren't walking around up there. They're being carried, so I got out of having to have one up there. So, and I can easily take this off if I ever want to. And then my last 3 gates are just these really inexpensive wooden ones, like the old school ones. I use them all the time in doorways, if I'm cooking and there's kids that are getting everywhere, or, you know, I just want to keep, especially after hours, I will put them up in the doorways. I use one in the basement to separate the 2 rooms I have down there so that, you know, toddlers aren't wrecking block creations and stuff like that. So these are really handy to just have a couple. Stick them in a storage room or in a little corner like we do, and they're very handy to have. As far as like coffee tables and fireplaces, I don't really ever baby proof the corners because I have had very crazy toddlers of my own that love to climb, that run into things, that get bruised all the time. And I've just learned that they learn to be careful around these things if we don't baby proof them. Granted, if you have like a really sharp edge or glass or something like that, I would definitely baby proof that, but I don't go crazy with the baby proofing. I would kind of play that by ear. If I had a child who kept banging their head on the coffee table, then I probably would. But my girls have just learned, you know, I'm not gonna go crazy around the coffee table because I will get hurt, and same with our fireplace. And our only fireplace that isn't baby proofed is the dining room one. And we just don't really play in here, so it's never an issue. My daughters both climbed up here when they were 1, but they never got hurt, so it's not really a big deal. But, you know, obviously baby proof it if you think that you need to. But speaking of fireplaces, we definitely did baby proof the one in our daycare room. This is a fireplace behind this shelf, and this was all just exposed brick and stone underneath all of this when we moved in. So I'm gonna just briefly explain how we baby proof this. So for these, the really inexpensive and easy way we baby proof these was we measured the cutout. And I wonder if I can even lift this up. So this is what it looks like underneath. Kind of dirty because the bricks aren't the cleanest, but we just used some plywood, chipboard, and we just wrapped some batting and foam around it, stapled it on, and then put some fleece around it, and it has lasted 3 years. I can easily spot treat it if a kid throws up on it or whatever, just like you would a couch, and I can vacuum it. And so we did that for all of these. So this goes all the way down. There's one here and there's one here. It was really, really easy to do, and they've lasted really well. And you can always, you know, rip out the fabric and put new fabric on in the future, or do a wipeable fabric if you'd rather do that. But it was a really easy, inexpensive way to baby proof this. Now, as far as in front of this fireplace, I didn't want kids climbing up here and like falling into the wood burning fireplace. So we just put this really inexpensive like Target cabinet storage unit in front, and we just screwed it into the brick, and so it's not going anywhere. It doesn't wobble or anything, and this just, you know, prevents kids from going in there, and it was an easy way to baby proof from the fireplace without having to like buy something fancy, and it adds more storage space, which we love. Next up, it would not be a baby proofing video without talking about these toddler entertainment devices, also known as outlets. I don't know about you guys, my toddler right now, her name is Bryony, she's 15 months, and she is obsessed with outlets. So I'm very, very happy and grateful that in our house, it's a 70s house, and we actually went in and replaced all of the outlets in the whole house with tamper resistant outlets. And so they have like a little, it's hard to see in the video, but there's a little like piece that closes behind the outlet, so when you put something in, it has to kind of push through that. So if a kid sticks their finger in there, it's gonna get blocked, and I really like that. We do have a couple outlets like in the kitchen that we still have to use just the regular plugs. I just go with these cheap kind, but you obviously can get fancier ones if you have a more sophisticated child who really wants to get into the outlets. Another common topic when it comes to baby proofing is anchoring your furniture so that it doesn't tip. We use these really simple and easy to install systems for that. They both, you screw a piece into the wall and you screw a piece into the furniture, and then it has like a really strong zip tie that you loop through both, and so it will not allow whatever item to tip. And obviously you want to screw that into a stud or into wood if you have the option, and that way it's not going to tip. And we use that on basically every piece of furniture in our whole house, and they're very easy and inexpensive to use. If you have a TV like ours that is just sitting on your entertainment stand, I obviously would highly recommend you tether it to the wall. They make these really easy to use, inexpensive tethers that just screw into a spot on your TV and then screw into a stud in the wall, and you can't see them from the front, and they just prevent the worry of a child pulling the TV down, shattering the glass, wrecking your TV, and hurting the child. If you have a desktop computer like we do, or just any kind of place in your house with a lot of wires, I would highly recommend one of these cord boxes. They're really easy to use. You just stuff your power strip inside, and it just takes away the worry of children getting into the wires. The wires aren't everywhere, and it's just a nice safe place to keep them all so that they're not all over the place. Next up, let's talk latches. We have all kinds of latches all over our house, different types for different purposes. Now, when I started my daycare, I purposefully went through and put latches on the top of important doors, just for the fear that a child may, when I'm not looking for a second, somehow, you know, kids will unlock the deadbolt or unlock or get into a cabinet or a pantry or whatever and either escape or get into something I don't want them to get into. You know, kids are quick. And so we installed these like deadbolts like you would in, you know, like a hotel, these extra precautionary ones, so that a child can't reach them. They're more for kids not getting out, especially my own children, not really as much for people getting in, but they do work well for that as well. And then in the house, in a few different places, we have just these simple ones, but they keep the door from opening, and they're really easy to install, super cheap. We have them on our pantry so that, you know, mostly for toddlers not getting into things like olive oil and stuff like that. Not really, I don't have anything in here that's toxic or anything, but more just so that they're not getting into things I don't want them getting into, especially when they can reach the handles. And then I also have one on our living room closet that has like camera stuff and, you know, external hard drives. It's not really stuff that would harm them, but it's just stuff that I don't want them to get into. And I also have one on our linen closet upstairs, so they're not getting into the toothpaste and, you know, stuff like that. It's just extra peace of mind. When we still had a door down to the basement, which I've since removed, we had this kind of lock, just like you would, you know, in a hotel or whatever. You just would hook it on, and it would latch so that, you know, this door wasn't getting open because it didn't have a lock on it. In Minnesota, for any cabinets that have any kind of toxic materials, sharp objects, things like that, you have to have magnetic locks. So what these do is you have like a little key that's magnetic. There's a magnet in here, and inside the cabinet there's another piece that's magnetic. So normally you cannot open it, okay? But if you have the key and you know where to put the key, you can open it. So you put it right about here is where it is, and it magically opens. And so on this side, these are from Safety First. So when it's in the lock position and it's open or closed, this little thing sticks up and it will go behind this and latch. But when you have the key and you put it on the other side, that latch comes down like so. So it works really well. They can break if you really, really pull hard, but I've never had a child break them. I've only had an adult when they didn't know that that was there. So these work really, really great. And then on our cabinets that, you know, don't have anything sharp in them, we just use the regular latch kind of latches that you just kind of open and then push down to open. And then all over our house, we also use these kind of latches that you kind of push and then open. We use them on our oven just so that if something's cooking, nobody's opening it, which works really well. We use them on things like our little craft cabinet. It doesn't have anything sharp or toxic. I just don't want them getting into the stickers and the glue and the markers and stuff like that without permission or quickly before I can figure it out, especially for toddlers who are super quick. And then we also use them like in the living room on these drawers. There's just so many different ways to use these. That's really handy, and they're very easy because they just stick on. In some areas, you have to have your water temperature set to a certain temperature so that it doesn't burn the children. In Minnesota, if we turn off our hot water on the sink the children use, that works. So I would highly recommend that. So here's our bathroom that the kids use, the sink that they use. If you turn on the right side, the water comes out. But if you turn on the left side, nothing happens. So, you know, there's been studies that show it's more about the soap and how long you wash your hands for that matters when it comes to killing germs than the temperature of the water. So that's what I do to prevent it, so I don't have to turn my water temperature super low. And then lastly, one area I want to talk about that's, I guess you could say, is baby proofing. We had a stair runner that was carpet that was on these stairs that was really nasty, that was here when we bought the house, and I removed it in a fit of rage one day because I just hated looking at it and knowing that it was gross underneath with no way to clean it because it was stapled in. So I ripped it up, but I didn't want to have slippery wood stairs for the kids to walk on and slip on. So what I ended up buying are just these really simple stair treads, and I got some carpet tape that's removable, and I added them, and I bought a few extras so that if they get nasty I can easily switch them out. But they've worked really, really well for kids to go up and down without slipping. They blend in really nicely, and now I can see that it's clean underneath, and I can always replace them if something gets really gross, and I can clean underneath and be on my merry way. So I'd highly recommend these. Thank you guys so much for coming along and seeing what I use for baby proofing. If there are any products that you use that have really worked well for you, maybe for a certain kind of staircase or for a certain problem area in your home, please leave them in the comments so that we can help each other, because I just love our community of glue sticks here on our channel. And if you are new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I do all kinds of videos for working moms, moms who want to crush their goals, and for daycare providers. So I would love to have you as part of our glue stick family. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye guys.